It's 2 in the morning. The clock is ticking, and every single second feels like a small hammer against the silence. You're up. Maybe you're pacing. Maybe you're just staring at the ceiling, chasing a sleep that just will not come. Now, this isn't just a bad night, is it? It's a state of being. It's that feeling of an engine that is always running, a low hum of tension that never quite goes away, even when you're completely exhausted. This is what it feels like to have a chronically activated nervous system.
You know, our bodies have this brilliant, ancient alarm system that's built for survival. It's our fight or flight response. And when we're faced with a real, actual threat, it floods our system with hormones that make us faster, stronger, more alert. The problem is, in our modern world, the tigers chasing us, well, they look a lot more like deadlines, notifications, and never-ending to-do lists. That alarm was designed to be temporary, but for so many of us, it just never shuts off.
So what is the biological price we pay for this constant state of high alert? I mean, what's actually happening inside our bodies when the very system that's designed to save us starts to wear us down? The answer is a really powerful and often damaging hormonal cascade.
Okay, so it all starts in the brain. The second it perceives a stressor, it triggers a chain reaction called the HPA axis. Think of this as the command center for your stress response. It's a chain of command. The hypothalamus signals the pituitary, which in turn signals the adrenals. These little glands, they're perched right on top of our kidneys, and they release cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. And suddenly your heart is racing, your blood sugar spikes to give you a burst of energy, and all the non-essential systems, they're put on hold. You are ready for action.
Now, when this high alert state becomes the new normal, the cost is immense. Chronically high cortisol disrupts the very architecture of our sleep, which makes that deep restorative rest feel almost impossible. It can mess with your memory, it suppresses your immune system, and it can lead to high blood pressure and metabolic issues. There's actually a name for this: allostatic load. The best way to think of it is like constantly redlining your car's engine. It's the cumulative wear and tear on your body from being stuck in overdrive.
So the big question is, how do we begin to quiet this internal alarm? Well, for centuries, people have turned to the plant world for answers. And one of the most revered of all of these botanical allies is lavender. It's an ancient herb whose calming properties are now being understood through the lens of modern science and even recognized by major regulatory bodies.
And listen, this isn't just folklore we're talking about. This quote comes directly from the European Medicines Agency, or EMA. Their official monographs are based on really rigorous scientific reviews of evidence. So the EMA's recognition gives lavender a formal status, acknowledging its long-standing role in managing the very symptoms of a stressed nervous system, that mild anxiety, tension, and sleeplessness.
But what is actually happening at a biological level? I mean, how can a simple herb interact with our incredibly complex brain chemistry to create a state of calm? Well, the science behind it is absolutely fascinating.
So, the star of the show here is a compound called linalool. This is the main active component in lavender's essential oil, and it's the molecule that's responsible for so much of its signature relaxing effect on the brain.
When you inhale lavender's aroma, these linalool molecules travel up the olfactory nerve, and they take a direct route to the emotional centers of the brain. But when it's taken orally in a standardized preparation, it's absorbed into the bloodstream. This allows it to cross the blood-brain barrier, and once it's in there, it gets to work, but not in the way you might think.
Now, this is what I find really interesting, how lavender's mechanism stacks up against common anxiety medications. You see, while drugs like benzodiazepines directly target the GABA-A receptor, lavender does something different. It works on something called voltage-gated calcium channels. This in turn helps reduce the release of glutamate, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter. So it's like gently turning down the volume on brain activity rather than just hitting a mute button. And here's the crucial part. You can see it in that last row. This unique mechanism is associated with a much lower risk of dependence.
Okay, so we understand the problem of chronic stress, and we've got the science behind lavender's calming effect. So let's move on to the practical side of things. How can we actually use this knowledge? Let's look at the evidence-based ways to bring lavender into your life.
For managing anxiety, a lot of the scientific research is focused on a very specific preparation called silexin. It's a standardized lavender oil capsule, and this daily dose of 80 milligrams has been rigorously tested in multiple clinical trials, even being compared against common prescription medications. This research gives us a really specific, evidence-backed dose for its anxiety-reducing effects.
Now, beyond that specific preparation, Regulatory bodies like the EMA recognize several traditional methods. A simple herbal tea, made with just 1 to 2 grams of dried lavender flower, is a classic way to ease nervous tension. Aromatherapy, using a diffuser or adding a few drops to a warm bath, takes advantage of that direct pathway to the brain's emotional centers. And of course, there's the standardized oral preparation we just talked about.
Now, as with any active botanical, it's absolutely essential to approach it with awareness. So let's quickly talk about the safety guidelines that have been established by health authorities so you know how to use it responsibly.
Okay, so according to the EMA monograph, lavender is well suited for adults who are experiencing mild anxiety, nervous tension, and sleep disturbances. However, its use hasn't been established for children under 12. And because it has a calming effect on the central nervous system, you should be cautious about combining it with other CNS depressants. We're talking about things like prescription sedatives or alcohol.
Chronic stress might feel like an inescapable part of modern life, but our biology is incredibly resilient. Gentle, evidence-informed tools like lavender can offer a pathway back to balance, helping to quiet that internal alarm and reconnect with our body's natural state of rest and recovery.
All of the information in this explainer is drawn from official regulatory monographs and is detailed in the book The Botanical Calm. If you want to learn more, you can visit NatraMed.co.
And if you'd like to receive a free, detailed protocol, just comment the word CALM below this video.
If you've found this explainer helpful, please let us know by giving it a like. And make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll see you in the next one.